There comes a moment in life where you must decide no more. No more allowing people to push you, pull you, twist your spirit like a puppet on strings. If they can make you angry, they can make you weak. If they can make you cry, they can make you stop believing. And if they can control your emotions, they already own your power. But you weren't born to be someone's emotional prisoner. You were born to rise, to stand firm, to walk with fire in your soul and peace in your heart. And let me ask you something. How many times have you sat in silence, hurting, because someone else's words got inside your head? How many times have you reacted only to regret giving them that control? Your peace is too expensive to let them rent space in your mind for free. This isn't about pretending you don't feel. It's about mastering those feelings so they no longer master you. The world will try to provoke you. People will test you, and life will press you. But the real strength is walking through the storm and not letting a drop of rain shake your spirit. This ends today. You ever sit down and realize just how much of your peace you've given away? How many moments you've lost because you let someone's words crawl into your chest and steal your stillness? People will poke at you, test you, whisper behind your back, or raise their voice in your face. And what they want more than anything is your reaction. Because once they get that, they've got you. They know which buttons to press. And every time you respond out of emotion instead of wisdom, you hand them the keys to your inner world. But listen to me, your emotions, your fire, your passion, your calm, they are currency. Precious. And if you keep giving it away for free, don't be surprised when people keep coming back to collect. The most dangerous person in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who knows when to speak, and more importantly, when to stay silent. Because that silence, that's discipline. That's power. You don't need to match anyone's chaos. You were not built for that. You were built to choose your moments, hold your ground, and protect your peace like it's the last thing you've got, because sometimes it is. The problem is we've been taught that reacting means strength, that yelling back shows you're not weak, that snapping back is how you prove you won't be disrespected. But I'll tell you right now, that's the lie. Real strength is restraint. Real strength is in the pause, in that deep breath you take instead of the punch you throw. It's in the decision to walk away, not because you're scared, but because you're smart. Because peace is the real flex. You want to know how powerful you are? Look at the moments you could have exploded, but chose to elevate. That's not weakness, that's control. And control is what they fear the most. People can't manipulate you when they can't predict you. They can't win against you when they can't figure out what gets under your skin. That mystery, that ability to hold it all inside and only let it out when you decide, is your weapon. And don't you dare put it down just to entertain someone's immaturity. Let them throw their tantrums. Let them be loud. You stay still. You stay rooted. Because the tree that doesn't sway in the storm is the one still standing after it passes. Now I get it. You're human. You feel everything deeply. When someone disrespects you, it cuts. When they lie on your name, it burns. But feeling it doesn't mean you got to act on it. Just because you feel anger doesn't mean you throw it like a grenade. Just because you're hurt doesn't mean you hurt them back. That's what they want. They want to pull you into their emotional mess, because once you're in, they've got you. But if you can hold your ground in the middle of your rage, if you can look them in the eye and stay calm, stay still, stay focused, that's when you win. You don't win when you clap back. You don't win when you stoop to their level. You win when you walk away still holding your crown. Because that's when they realize they can't move you. And when people can't move you, they start respecting you differently. They start approaching you with caution, not out of fear, but out of recognition. Recognition that you're not here to play the emotional games. You're here to lead your life, not live in reaction to someone else's chaos. Every time you guard your emotions, you're telling the world, I belong to myself. You're drawing a line in the sand and saying, this right here, this is my space, my energy, my peace. And I'm telling you, once you draw that line, people will try to cross it. They'll provoke you, guilt you, try to flip your calm into confrontation. But remember, nobody can take your peace unless you hand it over. You've got to be a gatekeeper of your own soul. And that means watching your emotions like a hawk, not burying them, not ignoring them, but managing them with wisdom. Because sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is no statement at all. Let your silence speak for your growth. Let your calmness show the world just how far you've come. Because the version of you who used to react to everything, that version had no power. But the one you're becoming now, the one who thinks, who pauses, who holds the line, that version is unstoppable. That version is Let me tell you something. You are not here to be emotionally available to every attack that comes your way. You're not here to respond to every foolish word, every sly comment, every backhanded compliment. That's not your purpose. Your purpose is too high. Your calling too deep. Your mission too great. When you know who you are and you know what you carry inside of you, not everyone deserves access to your energy. Stop explaining yourself to people who don't even hear to understand. Stop defending your peace to those who never had the intention of respecting it. Some folks don't want resolution, they want reaction, but you have a choice every time. When the pressure rises, when the insults fly, when the heat comes, you can either rise with it or remain grounded. Don't let temporary emotions lead to permanent damage. One moment of reaction can ruin years of building. So breathe, pause, pray, walk if you have to. But never let their storm become your climate. Hold your temperature steady. Because when you master your emotions, you master your life. And here's the truth. Your emotions aren't your enemy. They're your compass. But a compass without direction just spins. That's why you've got to be intentional every day. Every interaction, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. Walk away. Not out of weakness, but because you're protecting something sacred, yourself, your growth, your vision. People may call it cold. They may say you've changed. And that's fine, because growth looks like distance sometimes. It looks like silence. It looks like not showing up to every argument you're invited to. That's not coldness. That's clarity. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to live in alignment with who you're becoming. And who you're becoming does not react to nonsense. You're learning how to respond with purpose, not emotion. You're learning how to hold your ground without raising your voice. And that is power. That is golden. So guard it. Guard it with everything you've got. There's a certain type of person that doesn't want to see you whole. They don't want to see you calm, collected, and grounded. They want to see you snap. They want to see you break down, lose control, beg, cry, fall apart. Because that gives them power. That moment you shatter, that moment you react without thinking, that moment you become emotionally exposed, they feel strong. But you've got to understand something deep in your bones. Your ability to remain whole in a world designed to divide you is your victory. They might throw shade, spread rumors, disrespect you in public, or betray you in silence. But as long as you don't break, they don't win. Your silence, your peace, your ability to stand tall even when everything inside you is shaking, that's the strength they don't understand. People expect pain to destroy you. They don't expect it to sharpen you. That's why it's so powerful when you keep walking with your head held high, even when your heart is heavy. That's why it's sacred when you hold yourself together while everything around you tries to rip you apart. You stay whole, not because life is easy, but because you know your worth is unshakable. They want to see the moment you collapse. They want you to lose your mind in public. They want you to argue, scream, act wild, because once you do, they get to say, see, I knew you were like that. That's the trap. They create the fire and then stand back waiting for you to burn. But you're not built for breakdowns. You're built for breakthroughs. You've come too far to hand over your dignity for temporary revenge. You've grown too much to lose yourself over people who never deserved access to your spirit in the first place. Don't let them rewrite your story because you reacted in a moment of weakness. Your story is too valuable for that. Let your silence tell them you've evolved. Let your peace show them they no longer have power, because they don't. They only win when you play the game. So don't play it. Let them wonder how you're still composed, how you're still rising. You don't owe them your rage. You owe yourself your freedom. And freedom means no longer being emotionally manipulated by people who feed off your reaction. They win when you break, but you win when you refuse to. You ever notice how some people only show up when there's chaos? They love drama. They breathe it. Because drama makes them feel alive. And the moment they see peace in you, they itch to destroy it. They'll throw triggers at you just to see if you flinch. They'll say things they know will reopen old wounds. But listen to me closely. You're not obligated to engage. You're not required to answer every insult. You are allowed to protect your sanity. You are allowed to say nothing. And silence doesn't mean you're scared. It means you're wise. Because there's nothing more dangerous than a person who can feel every attack but doesn't act out of emotion. A person who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't give in. That's someone to fear. You become that when you understand your value isn't tied to how others treat you, but how you treat yourself. The moment you realize their chaos isn't your responsibility, you gain peace. Real, deep, untouchable peace. And that peace becomes your armor. Let them talk. Let them provoke. You're not living for their reactions anymore. You're living for your healing, your future, your strength. You're living whole, even if they can't stand it. There's something sacred about a person who refuses to let pain steal their softness. A person who's been hurt, betrayed, broken, but still walks with compassion, still moves with grace. That's real strength. That's real power. Anyone can break. Anyone can fall apart when the pressure's on. But it takes a different kind of soul to keep standing, to keep loving, to keep building, even when life has tried to break every part of you. When you stay whole, you show the world that scars don't equal surrender. You show yourself that you're not just a survivor, you're a warrior. But more than that, you're healed. And healing isn't loud, it's not always pretty. It's quiet, slow, and powerful. And when people can no longer push you into reacting, they'll start pulling back. Because you're no longer entertaining what breaks you. That's the shift. You start protecting your spirit. You start guarding your energy like it's sacred, because it is. That's not weakness, that's evolution. That's choosing to stay whole when every reason told you to fall apart. And when you do that consistently, no one, not even the ones who try to destroy you, can deny the power in your presence. Don't let the ones who tried to damage you be the reason you doubt yourself. Don't give your peace away because someone doesn't value it. They don't get to have that control. Not anymore. There's a point where you stop letting other people dictate your reactions, where you stop letting your emotions be toys for someone else's amusement. When you stay whole, you're saying, you don't get to define me by what you did to me. That's liberation. That's maturity. Some people will never understand how strong you had to be just to stay soft in a cold world. But you'll know. You'll know, because every day you choose not to crumble. You choose not to snap. You choose not to let bitterness win. That's another day you stay free, free from their grip, free from their drama, free from the cycle of reaction. That's what staying whole gives you. Freedom, the kind that no one can take away, the kind that can't be stolen, only surrendered. And you're not surrendering anymore. Not your heart, not your peace, not your future. You've worked too hard, been through too much. To hand it all away just because someone tried to trigger you again. You've got to remind yourself daily, your peace is your responsibility. Nobody else is going to protect your soul for you. They'll try to test it. They'll try to invade it. But it's your job to hold the line. And holding that line means learning how to stay whole even when you feel like breaking. It means understanding that emotions come and go, but your character is what lasts. When they try to bait you, when they try to make you slip, stand firm. When they insult you, belittle you, doubt you, smile anyway. That's not being fake. That's being faithful to your growth. They don't deserve your breakdown. They don't get access to your lowest moments. Save your strength for what builds you. Save your voice for what matters. Let the noise pass. You've got nothing to prove. The only thing you need to focus on is being better than you were yesterday. Not bitter, not broken, better. They can try everything in the world to throw you off, but as long as you stay grounded, as long as you stay centered, you are untouchable. They win when you break, but you rise when you stay whole. There comes a point where you either take control of your life or someone else will. Someone else will decide how you feel, how you move, how you speak, how you respond. Mastering yourself is not just a nice idea, it's survival. Because the truth is, if you can't lead your emotions will lead you. And where they take you might not be somewhere you want to go. that anger, that jealousy, that sadness. If left unchecked, it'll guide your words, your decisions, your future. And then you wake up one day wondering how you got so far off track. But self-mastery, that's how you anchor yourself in storms. It's how you sit in chaos and still choose your reaction with wisdom, not impulse. You don't lash out, you don't crumble, you calculate, you center yourself. Because when you own your emotions, no one can use them against you. When you become the master of your inner world, the outer world loses its grip. That's not easy. That's discipline. That's years of undoing habits. But that's where freedom lives. Not in controlling others, but in fully mastering yourself. That's when you stop being someone's puppet and start being your own protector. Mastering yourself doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you know what to do with it. It means when the betrayal hits, when the lies spread, when the weight of life presses against your chest, you don't run, you don't explode, you sit with it, you listen to it, you learn from it, and then you respond in a way that honors your growth. That's what makes you dangerous in the best way. Not the size of your voice, not your ability to clap back, but your ability to choose. And most people can't choose, they react. They let the moment make decisions for them. But you were built for better. You were built to lead yourself when everything around you is trying to pull you off course. You were built to rise with focus while others fall with emotion. That's the real difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck. Self-discipline. The world will always hand you reasons to lose it. But you were never meant to be led by feelings. You were meant to lead them. That's not coldness. That's clarity. And it's the only way to take back your power from every hand that once controlled you. Think about it. Every time you lose your temper, you give away a piece of your authority. Every time you let fear make your decisions, you hand over the pen that writes your story. And you don't even realize how many pieces of your power you've given out. One to the person who triggered you, one to the memory that haunts you, one to the insecurity that whispers lies in your ear. Little by little, you lose control. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, until you wake up and realize you're living a life that was built out of reactions instead of intention. That's why self-mastery matters. Because it's not just about your emotions. It's about your future, your relationships, your peace, your legacy. You can't build something strong on a foundation that shakes every time life throws a storm at you. You've got to be rooted, unshakable. And that only comes from learning how to command yourself. You don't need to control the world. You just need to control the only thing that ever mattered. You, your thoughts, your tone, your next move. That's where the power has always been. And it's time you pick it back up. Self-mastery is not a moment, it's a mindset, a daily choice. Every morning you wake up, you've got a decision to make. Will I run my day, or will I let the day run me? Will I set the tone, or will I let the world dictate my mood? Because if you don't train your mind, it'll believe every lie it hears. If you don't train your heart, it'll give itself away to the wrong people. And if you don't train your reactions, they'll eventually control your reputation. You think people judge you based on your intention? No, they judge you based on your reactions, how you carry yourself when things don't go your way, how you move when the pressure hits. And if you haven't mastered that yet, life will keep humbling you. It's not punishing you, it's preparing you. But preparation requires participation. You've got to be willing to sit with your flaws, face your pattern, own your mistakes, and then rise. That's what mastering yourself looks like. It's not glamorous, it's not always pretty, but it's the only way to unlock a life where peace isn't something you chase, it's something you carry. Don't wait until life breaks you to start building discipline. Don't wait until you've lost everything to realize you never had control over yourself in the first place. Self-mastery is about choosing the long road when the short one looks easier. It's about pausing when everything inside you wants to react. It's about walking away when your pride wants to fight. That's hard. That's uncomfortable, but that's how you grow. Because the version of you that acts on every emotion, that version doesn't get to lead your future. That version was designed to survive, not to thrive. You've got to outgrow that. You've got to decide, I won't be controlled by what was done to me, said about me, or thrown at me. You've got to rise above the battlefield and realize not every fight is yours to engage in. Self-centeredness concerned. Sometimes your greatest power is not proving yourself. It's preserving yourself. That's the mindset of a leader, a king, a queen. And make no mistake, every time you resist the urge to break, you build a stronger version of yourself. That's who the world needs. That's who you need. Someone who is fully present, fully aware, fully in control. And here's the thing, they'll call you cold for not reacting. They'll say you've changed. And you know what? They're right. You have changed. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed to prove everything. You've outgrown the one who always took the bait. Because now you know your value doesn't scream, it stands. Your power doesn't panic, it plans. And your peace, it's no longer negotiable. That's what self-mastery does. It raises your standard. You no longer accept emotional chaos as normal. You no longer live in reaction. You live in response. Controlled, wise, firm response. That doesn't make you soft. It makes you unstoppable, because the person who has mastered their emotions, mastered their thoughts, and mastered their energy cannot be manipulated. They cannot be pulled, twisted, or shaken by the noise around them. And when you reach that level, you're no longer chasing power, you are power. So remember this, either you will master your emotions or someone else will use them to master you. Either you rule your mind or your mind will rule you. There is no in between. And it starts now, not tomorrow, not when things are calm. Now. Master yourself or be mastered. The choice is yours. When you look back at everything we've uncovered here, one truth stands above all the rest. You are far more powerful than the emotions that try to control you. You've spent enough time giving your energy to people who didn't deserve it, letting their words shape your mood, their actions dictate your day, their presence disrupt your peace. But that chapter is over. Now begins the rise of a stronger, calmer, wiser version of you. A version that understands emotion as a tool, not a weakness. A version that knows peace is not something you stumble into, it's something you protect. You no longer hand over your power to those who provoke. You no longer bend every time pressure hits. You remain still, composed, grounded. Because you've learned that your reaction is your responsibility. Your freedom begins where your discipline grows. The world may keep testing you. People will still try to pull you into their chaos, hoping you'll fall into old habits. But you've come too far. You've healed too much. You've seen what happens when you react in pain. And you've chosen the higher road now. You stay whole because you know breaking only gives them victory. You stay silent, not because you're weak, but because you've mastered yourself. And in that mastery, you've found strength. Real, unshakable strength. You now understand that the most powerful person in any room is the one who doesn't need to prove a thing. They just stand. They just lead. They just are. So walk with your head high. Speak only when it builds. React only when it's rooted in purpose. You owe no one your chaos. You owe yourself your peace. And every single day you have the power to choose it. Again and again. Not for them, not to look strong, but because your life, your purpose, and your destiny are too important to be controlled by anything or anyone outside of you. Own your mind. Rule your emotions. And never again let anyone pull you away from the calm you fought so hard to find. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. Stay grounded, stay whole, stay powerful, and remember, you are in control now. God bless you. Stay strong.